Jason, how much do you love the song Work, 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 Work? Let me hear you work, work, work.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Kramzer here. And it is time for Albums of the Year 2016. So for anyone new, Albums of the Year, the series where we each pick our 5 favorite albums of the given year. Today, the year we're looking at is 2016. I think it's a great year. I said in the 2013 video that I thought it was either this or 2013 that would be my favorite of the decade. And having now gone through this year, it is definitely 2016. Really, really strong year, I think. As far as news and things going on in 2016, David Bowie releases his 25th studio album Black Star on his birthday and then passes away 2 days later. Leonard Cohen releases an album on or right around his 82nd birthday and passes away a few weeks after that. Prince dies, George Martin dies, Merle Haggard passes away as well. A lot of like big album rollout type of things happening in this year. Beyonce has an HBO special to accompany her album. Drake has a multi-million-dollar rollout campaign with Apple Music for his album The View. Kanye's got Life of Pablo this year, which he continues to tinker with the mixes even after its release. And Rihanna, Chance the Rapper, and Frank Ocean all have major releases, which they all release exclusively through single streaming services. As far as the big songs of the year, the top 5 are Love Yourself by Justin Bieber, Sorry by Justin Bieber, One Dance by Drake, Work by Rihanna featuring Drake, and Stressed Out by 21 Pilots. The top selling album of the year in the US is 25 by Adele, and worldwide it is Lemonade by Beyonce. So that's the year in a nutshell, but let's see what we got for our picks.
Well, 2016, interesting year for me. I have a ton of good albums, 44 in fact, at least 4 stars, which is a record, although I haven't completely cataloged the 70s and 80s yet. But as far as I know, that might be the record for most 4-star and aboves, and that might last forever. So a very broad depth of talent this year. But I don't have any 5 stars, unless you count an EP, which I'm not in this case. As much as it pains me, I'm not counting Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion Side B because it's a little too short. Guaranteed I didn't listen to anything else more than that one, though, for 2016. Couple disappointments for me include, you mentioned it earlier, Jason, Frank Ocean's release. Not big disappointment. I really love Channel Orange, so if you're expecting a repeat for Blonde, not happening. Didn't like it. Another Highly Suspect kind of bummed me out with their follow-up to an album I really like. And I think I felt like I spent the whole year like searching for something I loved, and I found a ton of stuff I liked, but I remember feeling a little empty this year with my top 5. I actually had Hero by Maren Morris as my winner in 2016, which I don't know what I was thinking then, but I still like it, just not in my top 5. A couple runners up this year. I have a lot. It's hard to leave things out because there's so many like good albums that I liked. I'll start with the close to the like upper echelon 4 stars. Penny Days by Night Moves, Sailor's Guide to Earth, Sturgill Simpson, Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie by Volbeat, Hero by Maren Morris, The Shelters by The Shelters, The Stage by Avenged Sevenfold, which was a nice kind of comeback for them, less bro metal. And then finally, my final runner-up, In the Magic Hour by Ifew O'Donovan, a really nice kind of bluegrass folk album. Song Magic Hour on there is probably my favorite song of the year, but it's just going to miss out. My top 5. Number 5, Thank You Scientists with Stranger Heads Prevail. It's like Dream Theater-ish, but like way geekier. Like they're obviously like, they sound like they're like Dungeons and Dragons nerds, not so much like metal nerds. And they have a sax, a trumpet, and a violinist in the band. So there's a little King Crimson flavor in there, big prog rock sound, real cool. Also on my list, I got The Anchoress with Confessions of a Romance Novelist, kind of like Kate Bushy, art pop, Tori Amos, but a little bit of Brit rock, Britpop in there as well. She's got a really cool smoky voice, not like super high like Kate Bush or Tori Amos, but cool album that I just discovered this year actually. Went back, really liked it. Also on my list, one I know Jason will have, Margot Price, Midwest Farmer's Daughter. I remember hearing this for the first time and being like, is this the female reincarnation of Graham Parsons? Like, it's just spot on. Love it. Also on my list, my runner-up is going to be Junk by M83. Love the 80s throwbacks sound on this. There's a Steve Vai solo on here that just rules, just completely out of the blue. Probably his most accessible album, I think. But my winner, not counting Carly Rae Jepsen, of course, is going to be Pretty Years by Cymbals Eat Guitars. Really just fell in love with these guys lately. I don't know if I like it more than Lose, which is my runner-up in 2014. This one's a little more straightforward. It's a nice synthesis of like the Replacements and Springsteen. A little 80s in there. John Coglington produced it. He did War on Drugs and some other of like this era, like kind of bigger indie rock bands. And he's got like that sort of 80s aura about it. I think it follows over on this album as well. I just really like these guys. Lead singer, songwriter Joseph D'Agostino. He's from Staten Island, so he's kind of got like this New York punk attitude a little bit. But the songs are real catchy. Little Replacements, like they remind me of punk, but also with kind of like a heart. A lot of catharsis in the choruses, but just really great songs. Close has this like, definitely has a War on Drugs drive to it, nice swirling guitars. And Mall Walking's great, big reverb drenched, kind of slow unfolding epic. I really like his lyrics. They kind of speak to me. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet. I think I have to listen to them a little bit more, but it just feels real, feels like vital, down to earth, suburban, sort of, doesn't know his place in life. Just real relatable to me. And I don't exactly know why, but he just kind of gets me. 4.5 stars, not quite 5, but I think it's really good. It was their last album, which is very sad to me. So they went out with a good one, but yeah, that's it for Cymbals Eat Guitars. They have no more albums, but Pretty Years, good send off. My winner for 2016.
Shocking. 2-time winner, Cymbals Eat Guitars by Joe Steigerwald.
No, they did not win. They lost to Death from Above, 1979. A close race, but
that's right.
They couldn't do it.
Okay, well, still a good showing for them in this decade. I agree with the quality of 2016 as a whole, a little more with Jason. It's probably my second favorite of the decade so far, behind 13. Maybe 12 is second place. 12, 13, 16, my favorite so far. Disagree with Joe, although I agree that there's a ton of 4-star and up, but I've got 5 stars. I've got 4 of them, and I've got a lot of 4.5s. And I even think I'm being unfair to some albums I gave 3.5 stars, just because like the amount of 4 stars I'm giving this year is kind of ridiculous. So I think I may have slighted as a critic some albums I gave 3.5 stars, a la baseball writers in the 60s and 70s slighted Roberto Clemente. Way is Blood with Front Row Seat to the Earth. Regina Spektor, Remember Us to Life. Blood Bitch by Jenny Ball. All 3.5, but probably 4. Some more candidates with 4 stars that I really like that had to make the cut today and yesterday. Good Comeback from the Pretenders that I like a lot. Alone, You Want It Darker by Leonard Cohen. New View by Eleanor Friedberger, which is really awesome and has some great throwback like 60s, 70s country playing on it. 99 Cents by Santa Gold. Painting With by Animal Collective. There's a lot. So I've got 4 or 5 stars. Obviously, those are all in the top 5. Some 3.5s I had to cut, unfortunately, are going to be Black Star by David Bowie. Sorry, I'm at 4.5s. David Bowie, Black Star, not making it. Joanne by Lady Gaga, not making it. But the 5th spot is going to go to a little album called Helplessness by Anoni, former lead singer of Anthony and the Johnsons, who I don't really know, and this is a one-off album. It's the only album Anoni's done, but a really cool, like warm, synthy. It's all about kind of like being a victim and bystander of like geopolitical drama, especially in the Middle East. Songs about like looking up and seeing drone bombs and stuff like that. really good. And this was the tightest decision I made in a long time between the 4 that are left. Not winning, but a nominee is going to be Moon Shaped Pool by Radiohead. I think it's terrific, amazing. I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It by 1975. And then it gets even tougher picking between these two. Literally decided 45 minutes ago, probably. Listened to them both earlier. The runner-up is going to be My Woman by Angel Olsen. This album rocks. It's fantastic. I like her stuff. This one I think is far and above everything else I've done. But I haven't listened to her album from last year. Kind of slipped through the cracks, weird. But this album is just a tour de force of songwriting, and the way she just takes over the presence of her lyrics is great. But I've got a bit of a wild card winner, which, Joe, if you haven't heard this, I think you will love. If there's ever an album you haven't heard that I'm recommending that I think you will like, it is this one. It is going to be Emily's D+Evolution by Esperanza Spalding. Yes, for all you jazz enthusiasts, finally getting some jazz in there, but it's fusion, it's art rock and jazz all combined into one. Yeah, it's got this really cool vibe to it, really interesting vision. The parts are like these tight little prog rock spasms, a la maybe Fripp. In a review for Pitchfork, they described this album as Joni Mitchell fronting Yes, which is kind of an interesting way to put it. It kind of does have the flair of the later, like, jazzy Joni Mitchell albums. Lyrically, kind of spiritual, has a lot to say, pretty complex. The playing is the star on this album. She plays upright bass, I think electric bass on some of it, but the more you listen to it, the more you get into the lyrics. Very sincere and confrontational, a la Joni Mitchell. There's like this rich 70s heavier warm guitar in it, like right off the bat, with Good Lava. Great songs like Earth to Heaven, Judas, One, Rest and Pleasure, all amazing songs. Really, like, again, the guitar parts are very Fripp-esque, and like these micro jazz experiments in the middle of these constructed songs. The parts kind of dart all over the place, but there's this awesome, like, elusive uniformity to it. Crazy time signatures coming in and out, but backed with like that really loose jazz drumming. Like, all these terms that we talked a lot about in like the better King Crimson albums are like right here, but like with this really soulful lead singer vibe to it. Album's got like this weird pensive, like, but enjoyable nervous quality to it. Pretty upbeat, a little heavy at times, especially for like a jazz soul art piece. It can be pretty rockin'. Bass is great. Just a really unique vision, nothing like it. And I think the reason I'm putting it over Angel Olsen is just for like the last week of listening to both of them kind of back to back, a few more of the songs stood out and stuck with me here. But man, that Angel Olsen record is absolutely incredible. But I got to give it to Emily's D+Evolution, which is really cool. Emily is her middle name, and it's like a character she plays sometimes artistically, that, like, she says she can't get some of the expression out when she's being herself. She has to be this other person that, I don't know if it's like an imaginary friend or imaginary version of herself, but it's an amazing album. I hope everyone checks it out, especially you, Joe, because I think you would really dig it if you haven't heard it already. So Emily's D+Evolution by Esperanza Spalding.
It's on my list, but I don't have a rating for it, so I don't know if I actually listened to that one or not.
Check it out.
All right, some interesting picks from both of you there. I didn't see much of either of those lists coming, except maybe Moonshaped Pool. I probably could have guessed. So 2016, I always enjoyed the year. I thought it was really good. In 2016, I felt like the top 10 to 20 was really, really solid, really, really good. But it turned out that I really underrated a lot of records from this year. And in 2017, several albums that I had placed way low in my top 100, like in the 80s, became favorites of mine. So when you take like 6 more albums that I had ranked way lower and move those up into the top tier, then it really becomes crowded at the top, and it was hard to make some of these cuts. Lots of good records that I love, some that aren't making my list. Singing Saw by Kevin Morby, Pool by Porches, Visions of Us on the Land by Damien Jurado, Otero War by Caveman, Absolute Loser by Fruit Bats, probably my favorite Fruit Bats record, Ephemera by Little Green Cars, Light Upon the Lake by Whitney, And also a lot of really good albums by female artists. Cram nailed some of them. My Woman by Angel Olsen, really great. The excellent Case Lang Veers collaboration, Don't Let the Kids Win by Julia Jacklin is great. And just missing, probably my number 6, Midwest Farmer's Daughter by Margo Price. Sorry, Joe. Just too loaded of a year. It would make my top 5 in most years. And then a few more records by female artists making my top 5. I've got Emotions and Math by Margaret Glaspie. Really, really great singer-songwriter record. She's got an amazing voice. Got like a jazziness to her voice, a little Billie Holiday in there maybe, but just really, really good songs. And the guitar tone on that record is one of my favorite guitar sounds I've ever heard in my life. It's recorded so well, just the right amount of grit on it. And the whole record is just really simple, recorded mostly live, very minimal overdubs, recorded quickly in like 3 or 4 days. But yeah, if you like singer-songwriters, check that one out. It's great. Another great female singer-songwriter, An Honest Life by Courtney Marie Andrews. If you saw our 2020 video, you know that that record made my list. And this is when I discovered her. I fell in love with this record the second I heard it. I think it's amazing. Her voice is phenomenal, just really pure, amazing talent. And the songwriting on here is really good. I think probably my favorite record of hers, An Honest Life. And then the top 3, I've got the Lemon Twigs Do Hollywood, just fantastic. I've championed them a bunch on this channel. I think they're great. And this is my favorite record of theirs, produced by Jonathan Rado, just all kinds of like 60s and 70s influence mishmashed into one, like crazy amalgamation, all kinds of weird left turns on this record that I really enjoy. I've also got as my runner-up The Dolls of Highland by Kyle Craft, who I really like. He's kind of hard to put a finger on, like describing his sound. I think it's kind of like he wants to be like a Dylan-esque kind of singer-songwriter, but his voice is like too powerful for that and too theatrical. So it ends up being kind of like this Dylan meets Bowie type of thing. Really cool though. I love his voice. His songs are great. They're catchy. Check out like Balmarea for something more towards the Dylan side of the spectrum. Lady of the Ark is great. Pentecost, Three Candles, Berlin, all really good songs. He's kind of a little glammy, a little over the top, but really, really good. My number 1, though, winner for 2016 is The Party by Andy Schaaf. Fantastic record. If you followed his career up to this point, you see him growing with each record. His early records, honestly, I'm not super crazy about them, but you can see songs on his previous record, Bearer of Bad News, starting to get pretty good, and then he really nails it on this one. It's a concept record, but it's kind of like an anti-concept record. It's not like epic or sprawling. It's very concise, and the songs are very kind of concentrated. It's literally just about a party and the people at the party. So you've got these characters, Jimmy, Sherry, Alexander, Martha. Early to the Party is about showing up early to a party and kind of being nervous and feeling like you're bothering the hosts while they're trying to get ready. The Worst in You is a song about he's looking for his lighter and he can't find it, so he goes to find his girlfriend. He thinks he hears her behind closed doors, so he starts to imagine the worst. And then the next verse, he hears her call from the living room, so she's actually not in this room doing whatever he's imagining. So it's very quick, simple, just like 2 verses, get in, get out, but he taps into all of like the kind of insecurities that people are feeling at this party. And I just think it's really cool, really interesting. The songs are catchy, but the arrangements are fantastic. Great string arrangements on it. Tons of clarinet on it. So hopefully you like clarinet if you plan on checking this record out. But it's really cool. Great songwriter. And yeah, that's my winner for 16.
Yeah, don't show up too early. It's annoying. Trying to cook, put out hors d'oeuvres. People showing up. Where do I put my coat? Get out of here.
Major faux pas.
It's a no-no.
So you guys got anything else for 2016?
I really like Junk by M83 and that Courtney Marie Andrews. One of the only 2 you guys talked about that I very much like, but didn't listen to that Lemon Twigs either.
I'm not a big fan of Lemon Twigs, to be honest.
Both your top 10s last year, right? Lemon Twigs?
Yeah. I like the later ones better than this one. This one's just super weird sounding. Couldn't quite get into it.
You would probably like it more, Graham, I think, than their newer one.
Yes, maybe. And just for everyone out there, Lady Gaga, Joe and I have that banked, locked and loaded, ready to go. We'll release it at some point. Jason did not partake. But I would imagine Joanne, which I love, 4.5 stars, would be the one Lady Gaga album you could probably put up with the most, Jace.
All right.
I gotta give one last shout out. Just one artist that didn't mention, and I meant to re-listen to this album, so I'd like to think it would raise up in my rankings. But Digging Deep by Bonnie Raitt's really good, if you like her. And then Patch the Sky by Bob Mould, also good. So there's some older artists putting out some good stuff this year. What about Beyonce's Lemonade? You guys fans? Not a big fan? I mean, this is like the seminal release of the last 10 years.
I didn't listen to it all the way through. I knew the songs from it, and I mean, it seems like it'll peak at 2.5 stars, if that. I'm not a big Beyonce fan at all. Like, I'll take many other R&B pop stars. I don't get the fascination with Beyonce, and I really hate when people defend her lip syncing. What do you expect her to dance and sing? Yes. Like, that's it. Yes, I do. That's what she's pretending to do, so just do it.
Well, before the Beyonce lovers, fans ascend on this channel in droves, I'll let you know it's a 4-star for me, but it's my third favorite Beyonce. I'm a pretty big Beyonce fan, but I found this one a twee bit overhyped and overrated, more of a reflection of her celebrity than the actual music. Let's be honest. Beyonce fans. Bayhive. It's you and me here.
I'll take Rihanna or Ariana Grande any day of the week.
Let us know what your favorite albums of 2016 are. Let us know what you think of our lists. If you want to take a stab at picking what you think our 2017 picks might be, do that down in the comments as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.